Okay. How you doing anybody out there? I want to tell you a story. My name is Brian Jacobs, and I need to tell you a story. It's a story that might bother some people, but this is a story that must be said. When I was growing up, I had a lovely childhood with my older brother, my younger sister, my father, and my mother. We grew up in a big house, and we were not perfect, but we were happy. We were the happiest a family can be. But myself, I always created some type of drama. Yet I come in with these crazy stories on things I thought I saw. My father, he would humor me and be acting all suspense like, thinking, what's the matter? What happened this time? My mother did not tolerate that much, and she usually scorned me. She did not like my playful actions, that I should not be making lies like that. But what she did not realize, things I saw, I actually saw in real life. And I didn't know what it was. My brother would laugh at me. My sister didn't believe me either. It's just me and my father. And I know my father was just humoring me, but I appreciate the gesture that he cared at least to listen. Because what I told him were really fancy feats of technology. Things that didn't happen, not just yet. Well, you see, I saw the future. And people to this day cannot believe that I'm able to do these things. It was the year 1965. And I had dreams, sometimes nightmares, of future events. I couldn't control it. I just get into a deep slumber and I dream of high rises, buildings that defy imagination. And one day, I had a dream of these two gigantic towers in a mega city. One was hit by a flying object, and people died in that event. And then a bit later, another flying object hit the other building. These twin buildings were in flames with a spreading shroud of darkness. You could see from miles away. I never knew what that meant. I never knew at all what the meaning of these burning twin towers. It stuck in my head for a long time. There's a lot of things that I always dream of destruction. I dreamt of a building with a mass exploding, taking the face of the building, completely demolishing it. I dreamt that. And this is 1965. So I started keeping a journal. Because these visions, I call it, they were so detailed, so intricate, right down to the faces of the people interacting. I could not believe it. And I wake up, the journal right by my side. I start writing in my journal. And I tell my father, of course he's wondering, what's going on with me? I don't know, Daddy. It's just, these images are so vivid in my mind. I can actually be there and see everything happen in real time. I don't know what's going on. I saw assassination, especially with that one colored preacher. He turned out to be a great speaker and motivating people of color. He was assassinated. And also the other man of color. He was a righteous person. And he went and belonged to another religious sect. And there was an internal struggle. And eventually, he was killed by his own people. Sometimes these visions made me sad. I did not know what was going on. I didn't understand why I dreamed these things. They're so precise and so detailed. I could not believe what I'm dreaming. I can't tell any of my fellow students, any of my little so-called friends around the neighborhood. People be labeling me crazy. Then my brother, he named me Nostradamus Jr. and laughed. I didn't like that. So one day, I was really tired and I went to sleep and I had a dream that I was surrounded by fire. Like the fire was climbing up the walls and the ceiling. The ceiling was buckling with the heat. It started to melt the roof, dripping like honeycomb with flames all around me. And I got out through a window and I turned around and saw the house completely engulfed in flames. I was the only survivor. I couldn't believe my own house, the house I was raised up in, utterly destroyed. And I cried. I cried because my father, my mother, my brother, and my sister did not make it. And I wonder why I'm dreaming this. Why is this becoming a nightmare? As I woke up, my face was wet with tears, and I wrote everything down in my journal. Little did I know, it's 1967. And I was doing things in the basement, just trying to be to myself. And I took a nap in the basement because it was the most private and comfortable place I could find. Then I woke up. I smelled smoke. So I went upstairs to the first floor. Flames erupt all around me. I was startled because my nightmare was becoming true. And the fire was going fast, climbing the walls, the ceilings, just like in my nightmares. I cried out for my father, my mother. No one answered. So I went back down to the basement. Fire was everywhere. And I got out through a window in the basement. As I crawled out, I looked back, and it was the same exact scene I saw in my nightmares. The house was engulfed in flames. And eventually the house caved in for the weight of the fire. As the ambulance tended to me, the police said there was electrical fire. And it said no one survived except me. My father, my mama, My brother and my sister all perished. I was the only one alive, the only one left after all this total devastation. So I went to live with my grandparents. They were on my father's side. And they took me in, they cared for me, and they loved me the best way any grandparent could love a child that lost his actual parents. I lost my journal, so I had to create a new one. But I still remember all those dreams, the assassinations, the building that lost its face in an explosion, the fiery twin towers that came crumbling down. I still remember everything. It was burned into my memory. So as I grew up, I kept to myself because I had no one really to tell all these fascinating dreams and nightmares. And then just like dominoes, things happen. The assassination of Malcolm X, just like I dreamed it. The assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., just as I dreamed it. The building in Oklahoma where domestic terrorists blew up the face of a building, just like I dreamt it. And eventually, when 9/11 happened, everything was exactly as I dreamt it. The two twin towers hit by some type of airplane. With the smoke rising, you can see it from miles away. But eventually, both buildings came down in a smoke-filled rubble that clouded the imagination. My dreams, my nightmares. Eventually, I was scared to go to sleep. Had seeked out a psychiatrist. And I told him, ever since 1965, when I was just a small little lad, I've had these vivid dreams of assassination and destruction. And they seem to be coming to life. And I don't know what to expect anymore. I don't want to go to sleep. I don't want to keep having these dreams. I don't want to keep doing this. And so the psychiatrist wanted to give me some drugs. Well, I took the prescription. Said it would help me sleep more soundly. I forgot what it was. But I then had one final disturbing dream. And I hope to God that it don't come true. There was just a woman was about to set off a nuclear war. She was the president, probably the first female president in the history of our country. And through determination and trying to de-escalate the climate against her adversaries, someone pushed the button. And the last thing I remember was looking at a mushroom cloud. A devastating mushroom cloud. As it destroyed New York City. And then all of a sudden I just woke up. I could not believe I damn near almost missed myself. That devastating, destructive mushroom cloud took out Manhattan. And it was so vivid, so clear. I don't know what to expect anymore. And I hope to God that it's not true. It is the year 2026. And I hope to God this nightmare does not come true. Because in that case, that's the end for everyone. There's no turning back. And there's no conclusion to the story. I pray that this does not happen. Why am I cursed with such a gift? All I wanted to be was happy. All I wanted was being happy. And all my nightmares filled with so much sadness, so much death and destruction. And people wonder why I always stay to myself. I'll never marry. I don't want to get married. I don't want to explain to my wife why I'm having these nightmares. I ain't want to have no kids. Cause the future is not promised to anyone. And as bleak as my futures sometimes appear, I cannot go on any longer. This is my final recording. And this is my goodbye message to anyone listening. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Hopefully, cooler heads will prevail. Goodbye.